peony is a flowering plant in the genus Paeonia, the only genus in the family Paeoniaceae. They are native to Asia, southern Europe and western North America. Boundaries between species are not clear and estimates of the number of species range from 25 to 40. Most are herbaceous perennial plants 0.5 to 1.5 meters tall, but some resemble trees 1.5 to 3 meters tall. They have compound, deeply lobed leaves and large, often fragrant, flowers, ranging from red to white or yellow, in late spring and early summer. Name: the peony is named after Paeon, a student of Asclepius, the Greek god of medicine and healing. Asclepius became jealous of his pupil. Zeus saved Paeon from the wrath of Asclepius by turning him into the peony flower. The family name Paeoniaceae was first used by Friedrich L. Rudolphi in 1830, following a suggestion by Friedrich Gottlieb Bartling that same year. The family had been given other names a few years earlier. The composition of the family has varied, but it has always consisted of Paeonia and one or more genera that are now placed in ranunculales. It has been widely believed that Paeonia is closest to Glaucidium, and this idea has been followed in some recent works. Molecular phylogenetic studies, however, have demonstrated conclusively that Glaucidium belongs in Ranunculaceae, but that Paeonia belongs in the unrelated order Saxifragales. Classification: peonies can be classified by both plant growth habit and flower type. Plant growth types are herbaceous, tree, and itoe, which is intermediate between herbaceous and tree forms. In winter herbaceous peonies die back to their underground parts, whereas tree peonies lose their leaves but retain viable woody stems above ground. The itoe hybrids are intermediate between herbaceous and tree forms. They are named after Toichi Ito, who first produced a successful intersectional hybrid in 1948. The following sequence of flower types becomes more complex in its arrangement of petals. The flower types include single, Japanese, anemone, semi-double, double and bomb-double. Chemistry and biological activities: over 262 compounds have been obtained so far from the plants of Paeoniaceae. These include monoterpenoid glucosides, flavonoids, tannins, stilbenoids, tryptopanoids and steroids, paenols, and phenols. Biological activities include antioxidant, antitumor, antipathogenic, immune system modulation activities, cardiovascular system protective activities and central nervous system activities. The herb known as Paeonia, in particular the root of P. lactiflora, has been used frequently in traditional medicines of Korea, China and Japan. Research suggests the constituents in P. lactiflora Paeoniflorin and Paeonol can modulate IgE-induced scratching behaviors and mast cell degranulation. Propagation: herbaceous and itoe peonies are propagated by root division, and sometimes by seed. Tree peonies can be propagated by grafting, division, seed, and from cuttings, although root grafting is most common commercially. Herbaceous peonies such as Paeonia lactiflora, will die back to ground level each autumn. Their stems will reappear the following spring. However, tree peonies, such as Paeonia subfruticosa, are shrubbier. They produce permanent woody stems that will lose their leaves in winter, but the stem itself remains intact above ground level. How you plant your peony will depend on which type you have. Species: herbaceous species, Paeonia abchisica, Paeonia anomala, Paeonia bakeri, Paeonia broteri, Paeonia brownie, Paeonia californica, Paeonia camiscidacea, Paeonia caucasica, Paeonia cousea, Paeonia coriacea, Paeonia dorica, Paeonia dorica subsp. Mlokoswatski. Paeonia emodi, Paeonia hirsuta, Paeonia intermedia, Paeonia japonica, Paeonia kesrauanensis, Paeonia lactiflora, Paeonia macropilla, Paeonia meru, Paeonia mascula, Paeonia obovata, Paeonia officinalis, Paeonia parnasica, Paeonia peregrina, Paeonia rhodia, Paeonia sangiensis, Paeonia sterniana, Paeonia steveniana, Paeonia tenuifolia, Paeonia tomentosa, Paeonia vichia, Paeonia whitmaniana. Woody species: Paeonia decomposita, Paeonia delaviri, Paeonia gishinensis, Paeonia ludlowia, Paeonia auster, Paeonia kiwi, Paeonia rocca, Paeoniaceae fruticosa. Symbolism and uses. The peony is among the longest used flowers in Eastern culture and is one of the smallest living creature national emblems in China. Along with a plum blossom, it is a traditional floral symbol of China, where the Paeoniaceae fruticosa is called C. permel to the first. It is also known as A squared H plus or minus flower of riches and honor, or H plus or minus C king of the flowers, and is used symbolically in Chinese art. In 1903, the Qing dynasty declared the peony as the national flower. Currently, the Republic of China on Taiwan designates the plum blossom as the national flower, while the People's Republic of China has no legally designated national flower. In 1994, the peony was proposed as the national flower after a nationwide poll, but the National People's Congress failed to ratify the selection. In 2003, another selection process has begun, but to date, no choice has been made. The ancient Chinese city Luoyang has a reputation as a cultivation center for the peonies. Throughout Chinese history, peonies in Luoyang have been said to be the finest in the country. Dozens of peony exhibitions and shows are still held there annually. In Japan, Paeonia lactiflora used to be called herbaceous gougerie. Pronunciation of C. permel to the first in Japan is botan. In Campo, its root was used as a treatment for convulsions. It is also cultivated as a garden plant. In Japan, Paeoniaceae fruticosa is called the king of flowers, and Paeonia lactiflora is called the prime minister of flowers. In the Middle Ages, peonies were often painted with their ripe seed capsules, since it was the seeds, not the flowers, which were medically significant. 1. Ancient superstition dictated that great care be taken not to be seen by a woodpecker while picking the plant's fruit, or the bird might peck out one's eyes. In 1957, the Indiana General Assembly passed a law to make the peony the state flower of Indiana, a title which it holds to this day. It replaced Virginia, which had been the state flower since 1931. Mischievous nymphs were said to hide in the petals of the peony, giving it the meaning of shame or bashfulness in the language of flowers. While the peony takes several years to re-establish itself when moved, it blooms annually for decades once it has done so. Peonies are also extensively grown as ornamental plants for their very large, often scented flowers. Peonies tend to attract ants to the flower buds. This is due to the nectar that forms on the outside of the flower buds, and is not required for the plant's own pollination or other growth. Peonies are a common subject in tattoos, often used along with koi fish. The popular use of peonies in Japanese tattoo was inspired by the ukiyo-e artist Utagawa Kuniyoshi's illustrations of the Suikoden, a serialized novel from China. His paintings of warrior heroes covered in pictorial tattoos included lions, tigers, dragons, koi fish, and peonies, among other symbols. The peony became a masculine motif, associated with a devil-may-care attitude and disregard for consequence. In China, the fallen petal of Paeonia lactiflora are parboiled and sweetened as a tea-time delicacy. Peony water was used for drinking in the Middle Ages. The petals may be added to salads or to punches and lemonades. Famous painters of peonies have included Conrad Gessner and Auguste Renoir in 1879. Paeonia officinalis can be found in the altar picture of Maria in Rosenhag by Scongor in the former Dominican church in Como. The Italian Jesuit, painter and architect Lang Xining, who worked at the court of Emperor Qianlong, in the Qing dynasty, painted peonies. Gallery. References. External links: Family and suprafamilial names at James L. Reveal, Shuguang Zhane Allah on phylogeny of Saxifragales doi 10.1080/10635150801888871, Paeoniaceae and Toporks, Germplasm Resources Information Network, Paeonia, Flora Europaea, Paeonia, Ornamental Plants from Russia, Paeonia, The Peony Society, Canadian Peony Society, U.S. Peony Society, Carson Burkhart's Open Source Peony Project, German Peony Group, China Daily article on the 2003 National Flower Selection Process, Rockcur Tree Peony, Paeonia mascula in the National Park of Alta. Merger, Apulia, southern Italy, blossoming of the peony flower.